takes e7.
Let's pause for a minute and try to assess the...
No, black cannot lose, this is for sure.
Yeah, because black
should never lose the
position. Should never lose the position, yes. I have no doubt about it. And
because I have hardly any weaknesses.
Yeah, you cannot lose. I mean, I think black maybe slightly better. Yeah, but probably white shouldn't lose as well.
No.
Because I have just 2 rooks and I can take many pawns.
And let's see, black has 6 pawns and white has 4 pawns.
Yeah, but
every single pawn of white's is very, very weak.
Yes.
And there's several of black's as well. It's just going to be, there's going to be some sort of bloodfest, and at the end of it, black will still have some structure in the middle of the board, and white won't have very much.
And this pawn is
very
becoming very dangerous. Pawn on e4.
Is becoming very dangerous.
And especially because this pawn could be supported by rook, knight, and possible king.
Yeah.
And my rooks are far away of that pawn. It's not so easy to stop it.
But I mean, you said, Garry, that you think that black should never lose this position.
Yeah, I understand it. I understood it during the game, but okay, maybe it's...
and I had the impression that during the game that you were still trying to win with white.
Yeah, that's not
so
unreasonable. Another mistake, yes.
It's a strength and a weakness.
Yes, absolutely. But you know, it's active chess. It's rapid chess. You know, it's just and I had some time advantage because maybe it's Jonathan had 6 minutes, I had 10 minutes or 11 minutes.
Was it that much difference, really?
No, it was different, real difference. Maybe 4 minutes difference, but anyway, it was difference. And
yes, well, that's fair enough. Yes.
Yeah.
So in this position,
Garry
played.
Sorry.
White played.
Yes, I took the pawn on e7, king f6.
Yes.
Check.
King f6.
F6.
King to
f6.
And now you started to mop off the.
Yeah, well, we had some hoovering now.
Yes.
And I took this guy, didn't I?
Yes.
You took the pawn on e3. So now.
Page 6. Yeah. Now it's important to take that pawn to avoid this. Yes. Very dangerous pawns in the center.
That's right, because black has the pawns on c6 and d6 and e4.
Yes, and
if John Speelman can eliminate the white pawns on c2 and c3 and c4,
then I'll have 43 connected passed pawns.
Yeah, huge number.
No. And it's obvious move. Rook h6 check.
So you must play rook h6 check.
I went king f5.
No, you went king g5.
King g5.
That actually doesn't matter. Rook
I doubt it matters. And I hoovered another one on c3, didn't I?
You played rook takes c3.
I played rook takes c3. Okay, and
now in this position, of course, you could, Garry, you could try to take the white pawn on.
No, this is interesting. You know, it's obvious move, especially in the short game, in speed chess game, to take the pawn on a7. I could do it, but then you know, it's you should think how to stop the pawn because black has several good opportunities. Maybe even to play e3 now.
I wasn't thinking about so much, but yes, I probably should have done. My knight, I just want to advance my knight and pawn, don't I?
Yes,
yeah, maybe this is one idea. Another idea maybe to put the king on f4.
Yes, I wanted to bring my king in.
Yes, then the king is going to e3.
And that's tremendous.
And I know that black cannot lose. I mean, maybe this is still draw, but but by that moment I decided to be very safe.
Yes, I mean in a position like this, the unit formed by the black king and the black knight, the black rook and the black pawn. Are really very, very threatening indeed.
Yes.
And
I think I was very satisfied by my next remark because after this move I was safe. It's very important just to release my king from that dangerous position.
Yes, it's more important in these positions, the king position.
Yes, king's position is very important. I mean, if I cannot win, I have to get rid of any risk to lose.
Yes.
And eliminate risk. And I think I played
rook b3.
Yes, very good move. Rook b3. And now if he takes my pawn, my king is going to g3. And
you're not worse.
Yes, I'm not worse, you know. I think it's drawing position now.
And what did you think about this, John? Were you thinking about winning this position, or were you just thinking about not losing?
I was playing really. I wasn't thinking that much about what the assessment was, just keeping my king active. I thought rook b3 was a very good move. I hadn't seen it. And I was displeased that his king suddenly got to a good square, because obviously that's the most important feature, or it's obvious to both of us. So I decided to get rid of his rook's pawn.
Another far pawn. Yes, just to.
I'm just making the board as small as possible.
Yes, for knight.
So what happened now?
I get check.
King g3. Rook takes a2. And now I discovered that I could win this pawn in e4 by force.
Yeah. Maybe my king should have gone to f5 100 moves ago.
Yes. I think so too. Yes, I think so too. Yes, g5 was It's too ambitious, you know. You attacked my rook, but you
but I
lost some time in the future.
Yes.
It just proved that you were definitely better. I mean, after my mistake, my move, rook f1.
So did you get rook e3 or rook
No,
e4?
I play rook d4. No, the pawn is rook d4,
sorry.
and at the same time I'm protecting the pawn, and I'm just attacking your pawn.
And
King
so I
f5,
moved my king.
rook e3.
And now
Now the
Now
black
it's
pawn on e4 is doomed.
yes, and if I can take it, black could be in danger, even just with one pawn on c4, because two rooks can organize a very dangerous attack against king.
Yes, but I had the impression, watching the game, that up to now, Garry, you'd been rather perturbed about losing. And now suddenly I thought again, I know Garry, he's thinking about winning once more.
Yeah, just I realized that there's no danger, any danger for me now, and I was very happy to get rid of that pawn in the center. You know, it was very dangerous, very nasty pawn.
Yes. But I have some tactics.
Yeah, some tactics. Knight g4, and
Attacking
now
the rook.
unfortunately I have to take this pawn with my e3 rook. Rook takes e4.
And now I gave
Rook
check.
s3 check, and
And
now I. Okay, it's no reason, no sense to go to h4 with your king. It's just. It's kind of cooperative, you know.
Well, no, but
White
it's
is-
also it's a reflex action to go up, isn't it?
Yes, maybe, but okay, I saw that of king g2 is the best move is rook a2 check.
Of course, yes.
Yes, rook a2 check, and this is draw.
And it's a draw,
Yeah,
yes.
but maybe it's automatically, you know. But I had big advantage in the openings, then I was worse. Now I got some chances, and I just immediately came to h4, and it surprised me
I
because I,
wonder
had.
wonder if you could play for advantage if you go back and bring your king over.
No, I
as well.
couldn't. You know, after king g2, rook a2 check, I couldn't leave because if I play king f1, knight h2 check,
Yes.
and it's if my king goes to
Well-
e1 or g1, knight f3 check,
Yes. With
and
knights.
then
Yes.
Losing a rook.
yeah, losing the rook.
What about if you come this way?
This way, it.
Oh, I have 95.
No, you have rook s3 check. No, maybe 95. Yes, 95. No, I think I cannot escape. And then 95 and c5 is threatening sometimes.
So you play king h4.
Yeah. No, okay, I played king h4. This is very bad move. And after this move, I was in trouble.
Yes.
Yes.
So your king's
Yeah, because my king is out, and my rooks in the center are in a very amusing position, you know? Insulting position. Knight f2. And now the mate is threatening. Rook h3 mate. It's
so the next moves are forced.
it's
yes.
it's
Very unpleasant.
it's very unpleasant threat, you know.
So you gave check, which is forced,
Yeah.
and now my king goes.
Yes,
in
I
between.
check, and then your king goes to e5, and now my two rooks are hanging, and the threat is to play c5,
Yeah. So
and
you,
then I'm losing one rook, you
Yeah,
know.
so you had to play
my
c5.
only move is c5.
and now I found.
Yes,
Rook h3
rook
check.
h3 check. Again, I have the only move again. King g5.
And then rook back to e3.
Rook back to e3.
It's a good move.
Now, it's obvious threat now to play knight e4 check. You know, it's or if I go with my king somewhere, let's say to g6.
Yeah.
He goes to e4, knight goes to e4, and I'm losing my rook.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's why I was so surprised about the position. Yes, and my best move was here to play rook h4, and then knight
Knight
e4,
e4 check.
and I have to take with my rook. Rook takes e4, rook d6,
And, I have some chances, but it's probably drawn.
yeah, probably this position is draw because I'm winning very important pawn, but maybe having this surprise with all these checks, you know, only 4, and I just immediately move my rook on a4, trying to win the pawn, and I forgot that after knight h3, I'm just losing the
rook.
whole rook.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so-
no, then it's not. After I played king g4, knight takes f4, and if white takes on f4, then rook e4 just
Gets
pawns-
completely one end.
Yes, completely
One
one pawn
pawn
pawns
end.
end game. Okay, I took on a7, but it's not.
And
it's
after
not
he took an
interesting
a7, it was a rook and a knight.
anymore. Rook and the
Yes.
knight.
You took on a7.
Yeah, but it's rook and the knight.
But
Yes.
this isn't really very interesting.
Yes. And then
Knight e6, and
Knight
I've
to
defended
e6.
everything, and
Yeah.
I went and took his c pawn
Yes,
and
and it's
advanced.
the pawn is.
And I had
Unfortunately,
what, 4
one
minutes?
pawn is still alive.
Yes, I have
Yes,
about
and
4 or
the,
5 minutes. didn't I?
2.5 about.
2.5
Two
really.
and a half, but it's more than enough.
Yeah.
so sometime later, Garry, you resigned.
Yes.
Yeah, true.
Very interesting game indeed.
Very hard.
John, it's the first time that you've ever beaten Garry Kasparov,
Absolutely, yes.
and Garry, it's the first time you've lost with the white pieces, I think, in any game since you played Anatoly Karpov 2 years ago at the World Championship in Seville. Is that right?
Can't be true.
Yeah, maybe, but it's you cannot compare it.
No, no, you can't.
No, it
Yes,
isn't.
right.
It's
No,
not
of course, I'm very
Yeah,
delighted
yes.
that it is a
Yes,
quick
yes,
game.
Yeah. No, anyway, it's you're right. Yes, it's my last game was lost with white was in Seville in 1987.
Seville. Mhm.
Yes.
And it's one
Oh
of
no, not. I think I. Oh, I didn't lose against Georgiev. Yes, in the match, in the Blitz match, was white.
Yes, that's rather.
But I lost against Lugi in Blitz.
Yeah.
but it's also one of the very few games that a British player has won against a reigning world champion.
Yes, well, it's a 25-minute game, but I'm still, of course, very pleased. Yes.
Yeah, but Nigel won 2 games.
Yeah, natural.
It's also
25
interesting
games.
to see, John, again your psychological approach to chess.
Well-
That Garry has a very clear, dangerous attacking style, and you were trying to confuse the position in the opening by choosing this very obscure Dutch defence.
Well, I just had to make a decision of what to do, and I thought this was fairly sensible at this speed because it's hard to exploit advantages exactly. And if you get a mess, then
Yes, true.
poor chances.
Yes,
But anyway, in case of Queen D2,
yes,
this mess could
Queen
be
D2 would have.
vital for black.
Yeah, or indeed, if you take him with the knight in e4.
No, yes, knight e4, it's not.
Yeah,
It's dangerous, but it's still.
I'm
you can
not
resist.
over. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, John, a really historic win. Any win against Garry is historic, but you must have been particularly pleased with the style of your play in this very interesting